Thanks for coming out today to show support for our transgender youth. My name is Ben Powers, and I'm one of the co-founders of Tigers, a local nonprofit that provides programming to help transgender, intersex, and gender-expansive youth build community and access resources. I'm also a licensed therapist and mandated reporter who, if I was under an order like that imposed by Governor Abbott, would have to report many of the clients I support on a weekly basis. The thought of having to choose between betraying the trust of those I care for and being able to keep my job sickens me to my core. And while I'm privileged to live in a state where I don't have to make that choice, the prospect of transgender youth losing access to basic care and rights is constantly under threat here as well. Gender transition care for minors is not child abuse. Don't stop! Within 48 hours of Governor Abbott's order, the American Psychological Association, World Professional Association of Transgender Health, American Academy of Pediatrics all released statements condemning the decision and clearly stating that gender transition care is life-saving and medically necessary. But of course, we know that already. The science has never supported these policies, yet still they are pushed upon us again and again. And with each new bathroom bill, sports ban, and restriction of medical care, it becomes clearer that the goal is not to protect children. The goal is to reinforce social stigma against gender diversity and inflict fear and suffering upon already marginalized communities. I see the ripple effects of these policies every day in the mental health of the transgender youth that I care for. Fear of violence when they leave their house. Fear of discrimination at school. Fear of rejection by their families. And now lawmakers have introduced yet another fear, that even if these youth are loved and supported, the government will take them away from their parents. Governor Abbott's order is genocide through parental separation. For many transgender youth, the hopelessness of living in this hostile world leads to mental illness, substance abuse, social isolation, or self-hatred. How are transgender youth supposed to survive, much less thrive, in such an oppressive environment? The answer is remarkably simple, supported by empirical evidence, and consists of just two parts. First, normalize transgender identity and embrace gender diversity as the beautiful and unique variation that it is. Research suggests that rates of suicide attempts among transgender youth dropped from an absolutely staggering 40% among youth without a supportive adult in their life to around 4% with a single supportive adult in their life. That's a 90% reduction from having a single adult using their chosen names or pronouns or just loving them for who they are. Second, create pathways for youth to embody their identities through access to medical transition services and in their communities through supportive social policies in our schools and other public places. That's it! Accept transgender youth and let them make decisions about their lives. That's it! Thank you!
When I say trans, you say right! Trans!
Right!
Trans!
Right!
Trans!
Right!
Woo! Alright! Next up, we have Attorney General Keith Ellison here to speak. Yes. Go.
Hey, people, how you doing? Well, let me tell you, I'm so proud you Minnesotans have come here.
Mike.
Can you hear me now? I'm so proud you Minnesotans have come here to stand up for the rights of everyone. Trans children, everybody in our country deserves to have respect and decency, and it means a lot when you come out here in this cold weather to stand up and proclaim trans rights are human rights. It means a lot. And I want to let you know that we are well aware that there are some states where the Attorney General thinks that it is his or her job to pick on and bully trans people, but not here in Minnesota. Absolutely not. I want you to know that your presence, your physical presence right here means so much. We are sending a message to not just all of Minnesota, but to the entire country that in Minnesota, trans rights are human rights absolutely every day. And we will stand against any bullying tactics, if it's done by an individual person, or if it's done by a school board, or if it's done by anyone. We will not allow it. People have the right to be who they are. People have the right to live free, and they also have the right to receive the support of their community, which is what we're doing here right now. You know, it actually breaks my heart a lot of it, to think that outside, that people can't even go to other states for fear of how they will be treated. So if you have a family or a friend in the state of Texas, what are you supposed to think? What are you supposed to tell a child who says, can we go see grandma in Texas? It's like, you know, honey, maybe we can't right now. This is wrong. This is absurd. And we are not going to stand for it. And we're not just going to protect Minnesota. We are going to expand the rights for everyone to be free and to be treated with dignity in every single state, Texas too. While we are here in Minnesota and you have an attorney general that's going to fight for trans rights as human rights, people in Texas are thinking, what about our rights? Does anyone care about us? Is anyone standing with us? And I want them to see you right here, right now, and say, yes, absolutely, your Minnesota brothers and sisters are with you. Your Minnesota family is with you. We're not going to let you stand alone. And if you are a Texan who happens to be trans, you are not by yourself. We're here with you right now. And it is time to lift up our voices. This is no time to be quiet. This is no time to say, you know, I believe that trans rights are human rights, but I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to offend anybody. Guess what? It's time to offend those bigots and those people who It's time to say, it's time to lift up your voice. I'll never will forget the words of the great Martin Luther King, who said, you know, it's not the meanness and the hate of the bigots, but it's the appalling silence of the good people. And I can tell you, in Minnesota, we cannot be silent. We cannot be those good people who are with you who won't say so. We gotta be those people who stand up loud and proud who say trans rights are human rights. Right here, right now. And what that means is that trans people can give blood. Trans people can go to the bathroom. Trans people can have a job. Trans people can get an apartment. Trans people can live their lives free of violence. And so thank you all very much. It's my pleasure to represent you in that building right there. And we will be fighting for all rights of all people, including trans people. Thank you all very much. Keep up the fight.
Thank you, Attorney General Keith Ellison. Next up, we have parent advocate Hildy Edwards.
Okay, I am going to try to use my mom voice. Alright, maybe that means that worked. Alright, so I'm going to be To be honest, I have really struggled with what to come up here and say today. It seems like any words that I came with would feel inadequate for the moment that we're in right now. And I know many of you here probably know our story. My family shared our story just last fall when I was running for re-election to the Hastings School Board and my child was publicly outed as a political attack. So I'm standing up here today, though, not as an activist and not as a former elected official, but as a mom and as a parent who is watching these horrible bills be brought forward right now. And I have to think as a parent, what is it that I need to hear right now? And what is it that I want my child to hear right now? To be honest, it's not the statistics about negative outcomes. And it's not all of the bills that are coming up. There are people here who will talk about that, and those are important. But that's a reality that I live every day, that my family lives every day. Today, I don't want to feel afraid. Today, I want to feel strong, and I want to feel hopeful for our future. So how do we hold on to hope in the middle of this darkness? For me, there is no other option. Hope is what continues to get me out of bed every morning. Hope is what allows me to see beyond the statistics and continue to push for a better world. Hope is why I'm here today. As Amanda Gorman said in her inaugural poem, "The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light. If only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it." Standing here with you today fills me with the bravery to find that light. It gives me energy, it gives me hope, and it reminds me that although our journeys may look different, we're not alone in going through them. I got involved in politics to save children's lives, including my own child's. In fact, I expect that desire to save children's lives is why so many of us are here today. So how do we do that? How do we make the changes that we need to make in order to protect kids and to make their lives better? We keep doing this. We keep showing up. We keep speaking out. We use our voices. We come together as one. A few years ago, I took a class about how we make change happen. I used to say that for each step forward, we would take one step back. And a professor challenged me to think about this differently. She said, change is not linear. It's not that we're moving forward on a line. Instead, change is like a circle. And we see ourselves moving forward and making change. And then sometimes it feels like we're going backwards. But we're really not. What we're doing is picking up momentum to make a huge leap forward again. Right now, these bills that we see coming forward, that's the feeling of going backwards, but all it is doing is giving us the power to push forward more change. We can see this momentum, we see it at the rally now, we see it in people speaking up, we see it as trans voices are represented in sports and in movies, and we're uplifting them everywhere, and we will keep going. We will continue to take the next steps in our battle for equity. We are not done. Prior to this rally, the rally in Hastings this December was the largest rally for transgender rights in Minnesota's history. People who were once quietly standing on the sidelines are waking up and they are paying attention. They are using their voices to say no more. And we need this movement to grow. As long as politicians keep bringing these horrible bills forward, we need to keep being louder. As long as politicians continue to attack our children, we need to continue to use our collective voice to make it clear that bills that promote hate and bigotry will not be tolerated. To everyone who is here as an ally, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming out to show the trans community your support. The bill brought forward in the Minnesota Senate this week was not the first bill here, and it will not be the last. We need you to make a commitment today that you will be here for the long run. That your advocacy will continue after you leave this rally. Being an ally is about more than sending a tweet. It's about more than reading an article, and it's about more than showing up to this rally. This rally can connect us and inspire and laugh to the transgender people in the crowd, especially to the transgender children. I want you to look around right now, and I want you to see that you are not alone. I know that sometimes it feels like you are. I know that the darkness can feel scary and unending. As a parent, I felt that way many times. But I also know that there is a light and there is hope. Getting the Minnesota Senate to pull their bill from the floor this week is hope. This rally is hope. Look at the number of people here. They are here for you. You are important. You are loved, and you are valued just as you are.
All right, everyone. Next up, we have Dave Edwards and Hildy Edwards. Dave Edwards is a parent, educator, and advocate, and Hildy Edwards is an advocate and young trailblazer. Everyone give them a warm welcome. And also,
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Let's hear for trans kids. My name is Dave Edwards. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I am a career educator, husband, and parent to two amazing kids in Minnesota's public schools. You're going to hear from the rock star next to me in just a second, but I'm here as a voice for Transforming Families Minnesota, gender-inclusive schools. Transforming Families Minnesota is the largest and longest-running organization of its kind, supporting caregivers with gender-expansive family members in Minnesota. We are a community of over 600 families from all over the state who hold monthly meetings in St. Paul, Minneapolis, and the South Metro. We facilitate information sharing on navigating unaffirming extended family members, the legal name change process, affirming healthcare providers, and providing support when our schools become unsafe or unwelcoming. I'm also here as the CEO of Gender Inclusive Schools, an organization helping schools and school staff create proactively affirming environments for LGBTQ+ kids in first and 12th grade settings. We know that LGBTQ youth, and especially trans youth, have mental health that is no different than their cisgender peers if they're affirmed at home and at school. All of you are here today, but we need to take action too. Please visit welcomingschools.org to request a training for your individual school, district, or parent group, and take advantage of the amazing lesson plans, book lists, and resource guides that our LGBTQ+ kids deserve. Also encourage all of you to visit the social media for Transforming Families Minnesota and Gender Inclusive Schools. Reach out. If you want someone to talk to your parents, we are here for you. If you want someone to talk to your teachers, we are here for you too. Without further ado, I'm so incredibly proud to introduce one of the top 3 coolest people in the entire world, Hildy Edwards.
People in that school community were afraid. They didn't understand, and they thought that treating me poorly would keep me down. They were no one has the right to opt out or ignore the existence of trans and non-binary
for non-binary rights, for two-spirited rights, and for all the youth in Minnesota and across the country.
Yeah.
Up next, we have Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. Everyone give it up for Peggy Flanagan!
Hi everybody, sorry I'm late. I was hugging my auntie. You all look beautiful. I overheard someone say, I love our community. And that is what I want you to take away from today. We love our community. And so as we are standing in front of this Settle building that belongs to all of us, I want you to know that this is your house. Whose house?
Our house.
Whose house?
Our house.
Whose house?
Our house.
That's right, and you have every right to be here. Be your full, beautiful, authentic selves. And so I cannot believe that I had to follow Hildy. It's like following like Lady Gaga. But I am happy because no one gives me more hope for the future than Hildy. Our young people are clear. Our young people know exactly what needs to happen. Not only do we need to fight, as Hildy said, these garbage bills, but we need to do more for our trans youth and for our trans Minnesotans, period. And so, I'm glad that you're here to make your voices heard. And this is a really powerful step. But we need to do more. We need to make sure that whenever there is a bill that attacks our young people for simply being who they are, that we say no. We need to make sure that in our classrooms, our young people are seen and heard and welcomed and celebrated for who they are. We need to make sure through things like expanding the Homeless Youth Act that our young, queer, and trans and non-binary youth have a safe place to go and ultimately housing. And don't even get me started on why they need housing in the first place. Because it is because of bigotry that is coming out of folks who say that they work for the people. But that's not working for people. That is simply trying to divide. And then finally, we need to make sure that we are expanding the Human Rights Act, that we are strengthening it. So I'm here, I'm going to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. The governor today is being a dad and cheering on Gus at his volleyball tournament. But please know that he is here. And we are happy to play goalie against these garbage bills. But I have to tell you that I am not satisfied with that alone, and you shouldn't be either. My daughter Siobhan, she expresses and her leadership skills every day, and for that I am grateful. She challenges me and those around her. But when she says, I want to ride without my helmet, I want to ride without my knee pads when I go skateboarding, I'm like, stop. What's my number one job? To keep me safe. And that's my number one job as a mom, is to keep my kiddo safe and to keep your kiddo safe. Which means that we need to make sure that we are also electing people who share our values.
Woo!
Who are not just saying we're going to stop the bad stuff, but we are going to start building good stuff for our young people and for our trans youth. So I am so our neighborhoods for what you believe in, because this is who we are as Minnesotans. This right here today, that trans rights are human rights, that our young people deserve to be protected, and we are going to do just that. And here's one last thing that I want to share with you. I was in church this morning, and one of the things that we talked about today that brought me a lot of hope, because hope is a little hard to come by these days. But I see a beautiful seahorse, and I feel a little bit of hope. And the question was asked, with the evil and persecution that surrounds us, will we allow it to break us down? Or will we allow it to break us open? To break us open and to be hopeful and to shine brightly as our full selves everywhere we go. To let our young people know you are safe here, you are loved, you are valued.
Everyone give it up for Peggy Blanket again! Okay, I'm going to try something with see if this works better. Can you hear me better with this? Yes, all right, so we are going to use this megaphone, but after our next performer, who is Rachel Kurtz, who is a musician and a Minnesota resident, and also someone who fights for LGBTQ youth. Everyone give a big welcome to Rachel Kurtz.
Good afternoon. I am thrilled to be here. I have a brand new song that just came out called Gay Kids, and you're going to want to send it to all your friends. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Oh, I'm going to sing a little bit more of one other song. And I just know that the actions that you're taking today by showing up, by being examples to your community, by being examples to your family, that you will show up and fight for your kids, is going to make a lasting impact. And so this is a delightfully simple and a little dorky and completely delightful song. And I'm going to teach you the chorus, and it goes like this. I want my life to make a difference. I want my life to make a change. I want my life to do some good here. I want my life to make a change. Now, I usually sing with groups of people, and I insist that they sing along. So today's the day. Here we go. I want my life. I want my life to make a difference. To make a difference. I want my life to make a change. To make a change. I want my life to do some good here. To do some good here. I want my life to make a change. We're the citizens of the world. Every boy, person, and girl. Let our voices be heard. You're the change. You're young, your dreams are bright. We won't give up on the fight. Letting love be our light. You're the change. I want my life to make a difference. I want my life to make a change. To make a change. I want my life to do some good here. To do some good here. I want my life to make a change. I want my life to make a difference. To make a difference. I want my life to make a change. I want my life to do some good here. I want my life to make a change. One more time. I want my life to make a difference. I want my life to make a change. I want my life to make some good here. I want my life to make a change.
Give it up for Rachel one more time! All right, and our next speaker is Senator Scott Dibble!
Hello, beautiful community. Come on up, legislators. All right. And an auditor. All right. Members, elections make a difference. These are your state legislators who are fighting for you every day in that building behind us. We have my sister, Athena Holland, with whom I'm carrying the conversion therapy band. Mike Freiberg, Mike Howard, Mike We heard from the mighty Liz Ryer earlier. Julie Blaha, State Auditor. Exciting job in Minnesota. We have Sandra Feist. My colleague, my sister in the Senate, Mary Kunish. Oh, we have candidates here too. We see Mary Moriarty, queer woman running for Hennepin County Attorney. I saw Bonnie Westland, who's running for the Senate earlier. Come up and whisper in someone's ear, and I'll call you out if you're a candidate after I get done talking. Well, we got Lee Finke here. You're going to hear from her in just a minute. Transgender woman who's going to be in the House next year. So members, you might have heard this last week we were going to have Minnesota's own Don't Say Gay bill up on the floor of the Senate. Raise your hand if you called your legislator and said, boo, do not vote for that bill. Thank you, because they pulled it from the agenda. I don't know if they're going to bring it back or not, but we scared them at least for a little while, so thank you. This is what I was going to say on the floor of the Senate. So this is talking to Republicans. Every day in Minnesota, there are young people totally on their own. 6,000 every single night. 13,000 individuals per year. No home, no family, no community to turn to. They've been turned out and they're fending for themselves. I rise to speak up for those young people who have no voice of their own. I would invite you to meet and speak with these young people. Hear their stories. Walk a mile in their shoes. Understand the heartbreak of not coming from a family where there are those who are there to care for them, to love them unconditionally for some reason, or cannot. Okay, sorry, can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I know what that's like myself. In the end, my family was great. I have parents who love me because of who I am, but it was not easy in the early days. I lived in my car for a short period of time. Some people really believe that to be LGBTQ is wrong, immoral, sinful, and so much so that they reject even their own child and punish them for who they are. If this bill were to pass into law, a child in such a family would be outed to their parents. They could not reach out to any trusted adult at school for advice, for help, to find what they need, to figure out how to cope so they could adjust and get on with the next day. I wish it weren't so, but it is. If those young people knew that the very next thing that would happen when they reached out for help was that a phone call would be made, they would just not take that first step and not ask for that help. Members, words matter. Language matters. Here it is in print, in the language of the law. The legislature further finds it necessary for a school to establish a consistent mechanism for a parent to be notified. That is a long-winded way and legalese way of saying, hey kid, keep your mouth shut. Struggling with issues of identity, don't tell anyone. Feeling blame and shame for having been abused, don't tell anyone. Your struggles are causing you to struggle and self-medicate with drugs or alcohol, don't tell anyone. Keep your mouth shut. Unless you think this is an abstraction, the people who showed up in committee use these very words. School boards and administrators are passing policies to allow males to play on female sports teams, despite our testimony against that. They implemented the transgender toolkit without our support. They threw around terms like gender confusion, a term designed only to humiliate, used only by science deniers who would tell us that transgender human beings don't even exist. That was actually said out loud in committee. They said things like a child's teacher shared matters about her personal sexual preferences. Another dog whistle. Members, what are we doing here? Are we saying LGBTQ members should stay in the closet? What kind of Minnesota are we imagining here? Are we putting teachers and students under surveillance in Minnesota? The fact is we have laws that already look out for the best interest of children. And yes, in almost all cases, we bring parents in. However, sometimes that means we put a young person at severe risk. This bill centers the interests of those with a narrow religious perspective and entirely disregards the health and well-being of children who would have to live with the consequences of those with minority political agenda. So I am now talking to all of you. Let me tell you that on behalf of the DFL caucus in the Minnesota Senate, and on behalf of our leader, Melissa Lopez-Franzen, and you already heard from the mighty Liz Ryer, on behalf of the House DFL caucus, we see you, we love you. Our world is a better place because of the unique, amazing, fabulous person you are and the gifts you bring into this world. We have your back. Do not be afraid. We will fight every single day for you in that building. We will not stop until we win the guarantee of a bright, safe, affirming future full of happiness and dignity so that you can bring those gifts to Minnesota and Minnesota. And I also want you to know that if you feel alone, reach out, talk to someone, call someone from one of these amazing organizations sponsoring this rally today. Or call me, or call one of these amazing people. I know what it feels like. I was afraid. I was alone. I heard those negative messages. And I only learned from knowing and meeting others that not only was I okay, but that I was blessed, and my struggle meant that I was going to have a strength and a resilience and a kind of creativity that maybe I would have not otherwise had. And to all of the allies and the parents and the friends and the people we love here, thank you. You are making a difference. You are heroes. Our community is beautiful. I love you. Let's end this way. I'm going to say trans rights, and you all say our human rights. We'll do it 5 times. Trans rights.
Our human rights.
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 Thank you.
All right, everyone, give a great thank you to Senator Dibble and all the other senators and representatives. Again, we also want to thank our marshals who are volunteers. They are the folks in the orange vest. If you need anything, please find them. They can help you. We also want to thank everyone that helped put this rally on, especially Matt, Llewell, and Naughton, who did so much work around this and who is also our religious organizer in Out Front, Minnesota. I want everyone to give a big round of applause for Matt. Brad. Okay, so our next speaker is Lee Fink, who is an activist, author, and filmmaker. She is the owner of Totally Gay Productions and is currently running for the Minnesota House of Representatives. Everyone give it up for Lee.
Okay, I've never used this before. No.
Yell.
Right into the thing. Yep.
Hello. My name is Lee Finke. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a filmmaker, an author, an advocate. I'm a political candidate, a parent, and a trans woman. I came here today ready to make an angry speech. Make no mistake, I am very angry about what is happening to my community in this country. These past couple weeks have been especially tough. But it's hard for me to be angry when I see all of you here today. It's hard to feel anything but inspired. So thank you for showing up. It is truly touching to see so many folks gathered in support of trans kids. It is especially moving considering that we just did this. Only 3 months ago, we gathered in Hastings after attacks against Kelsey and her family. The attacks continue, and so once more, I am here to say to all the trans, queer, and gender non-conforming young people here or listening, look around. This is what happens when trans kids are attacked. We show up. We show up, and that is not going to stop. To the non-trans folks here, most of you, do you understand what I'm saying when I tell these trans kids that we are not going to stop? You cannot stop showing up for our community. These bills are passing in state after state, and the moment you all stop showing up, they will pass in Minnesota too. Minnesota's anti-trans forces will pursue their agenda to erase my community for years to come. They may not be proud of their work, as we saw this past week when they pulled their bill in the night to avoid accountability. They don't want to talk about what they are doing, and they don't want us to talk about it either. They may be ashamed of what they're doing, but they are not going to stop. Because they do not want trans kids to learn what generations of queer people have already learned. That being a part of the queer community is absolutely the best. Make no mistake, anti-trans forces are not afraid that kids will regret being trans. They are afraid that we will love it. Breaking out of the constrictions of make-believe gender norms and all of the damaging nonsense that comes with it is truly the greatest achievement of my entire life. We do not need to be queer or trans to break free of these constraints. Everyone is welcome to break free from patriarchy. But I cannot express to you in words today how absolutely wonderful and free it is to be a happy, healthy, loved, and loving transgender person. This scares Minnesota's anti-trans forces more than anything. To the parents here today, I will tell you that this future awaits your child too, but only if we work together to support them. We know the best way to create this future for your kids. It is to accept and affirm and love them. Not everybody is ready to hear this, so I will say it again. The only way to love trans, queer, and non-binary kids is to affirm and accept them. Trans people are who we say we are. We all know what happens when people refuse to accept that truth. Denying who we are is deadly. But that is the exact agenda of the people who are trying to erase us. It is a deadly political strategy, and it won't stop until it is completely defeated. And it makes me angry to know that I might work with some of these anti-trans forces next year. But our voice is absolutely necessary if trans people are going to win this fight. And I promise you that trans people are going to win this fight. It's not going to be tomorrow, and it probably won't be next year, but it will happen. Only if you continue showing up. So thank you for showing up for trans kids. I will see you all here next time.